Good afternoon, I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro, and here are the latest stories at this hour. Breaking news at this hour, a special panel of investigators from the Office of the Ombudsman has filed a 104-page complaint for preliminary investigation against former House Speaker Martin Romualdez. The complaint includes allegations of plunder, graft, bribery, and money laundering. Investigators said the filing is backed by newly obtained documentary and testimonial evidence, including alleged cash deliveries, witness accounts, and corporate transactions. Also included in the complaint are former Ako Bicol Party List Representative Zaldico and several others. We will have more details of this story for you as they become available. The Philippine peso has plummeted to a new all-time low. The peso crashed to an unprecedented 61 pesos and 8.45 centavos against the US dollar at intraday trading this Friday. This smashes the previous historic low of 61.75 set just 2 days ago. Market analysts attribute the currency collapse to a 30% surge in global crude oil prices. This is triggered by escalating geopolitical conflicts in the Middle East. Heavily import-dependent, the Philippines faces severe selling pressure on the local unit to cover rising fuel costs. The Bangko Sentral is reportedly monitoring the forex market for direct intervention to smooth out excessive volatility. One News will be watching the peso performance until it closes around 4 this afternoon. Now, there's a looming fresh U.S. tax shakeup. President Donald Trump has slapped a 12.5% tariff on imports from 60 nations, including the Philippines, citing strict forced labor enforcement laws. While vital medicines remain tax-free, exporters worry locally produced goods will become more expensive for American buyers. On the flip side, Trump's new law makes domestic income tax cuts permanent and completely eliminates federal levies on tips and overtime pay, boosting take-home pay for Filipino workers in America. But economic analysts have warning these global tariffs will ultimately act as a hidden tax, driving up consumer prices worldwide. In other news, U.S. President Donald Trump has committed to bringing Philippine maritime security concerns directly to Chinese President Xi Jinping. Malacanang confirms Trump gave this assurance during a phone call with President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. Thursday evening. Trump pledged to directly raise Manila's territorial anxieties with Xi during their highly anticipated Washington summit this September. U.S. Ambassador to the Philippines Lee Lipton also confirmed the discussion, calling direct leadership contact vital as regional frictions continue. The phone conversation comes as U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio paid a courtesy call on Marcos last Wednesday. In that meeting, the Philippine president detailed escalating tensions with the Chinese Coast Guard. Another round of oil price hike is in the offing next week amid strong global demand in the continuing conflict in the Middle East. For the details, we have News 5 correspondent Gerard de la Peña. Gerard, how much of an increase can motorists expect for fuel prices next week?
Angela, it's 5 to 6 pesos per liter for gasoline, 6 to 7 pesos per liter for diesel, and 3 to 4 pesos per liter increase for kerosene. So the Department of Energy said that this is based on the first 4-day trading week. So that's from Monday to Thursday at the Mino Flat, Singapore, and we still have to count the trading day today. And the DOE said that because the direction of prices of fuel, especially diesel in the international market, is upward, so we can expect these figures that I've mentioned a while ago to increase during the actual implementation of price hikes on Tuesday. Angela.
Now, Gerard, how long are motorists likely to continue experiencing these successive oil price hikes?
Great question, Angela, because it's actually everybody's question right now. Experts say that we can really tell right now up to when we can experience these increases. Right now, everything depends on the situation in the Middle East as to when the U.S. and Iran will strike another peace agreement. So it really depends. Right now, sarado ang Strait of Hormuz. There are military attacks from each other's camps. So kapag na-resolve ito, pag nagkaroon ng peace between these two parties, then we are likely to see oil prices, pump prices in particular, going down again.
Now, Gerard, meron bang mga ginagawang hakbang ang gobyerno o ano-ano bang hakbang ang ginagawa ng gobyerno para naman maibsan, no, yung impact nitong nagpapatuloy na pagtaas ng mga produktong petrolyo?
Angela, I think that was last week. The LTFRB said that they are looking at finally implementing the 1 or 2 peso increase in fares in jeepneys. But parang ngayon ang tono nila parang medyo cold sila dito sa idea na to, because the LTFRB said that parang walang maitutulong ang piso o 2 pisong dagdag sa pasahe natin sa jeepney, ano? So now they are looking at increasing the fuel discounts that they are extending to UV Express and jeepney drivers. So right now it's 10 pesos and they are looking at increasing this to 15 pesos per liter. And right now the weekly limit for these drivers is 150 liters a week. So they are also looking at increasing that limited amount. And also, because this is only extended to UV Express and jeepney drivers, the LTFRB and the Department of Transportation is also looking at extending this kind of discounts to other modes of transportation, such as minibuses and maybe DNBS, and also motorcycle taxi riders. And also, Angela, another relief that the government is looking into is yung pagbibigay ng moratorium doon sa mga interest payments, especially for in particular for those fleets those groups who modernize their fleets, ano, yung mga nag-avail ng mga bagong mga modern buses or modern minibuses, ano. So the Department of Transportation is looking at magkakaroon muna ng hindi muna sila sisingilin doon sa interest payments na binabayad nila. These recommendations are still being studied, and the LTFRB said that even the DOTR said that recommendations will be submitted on Monday afternoon. Angela.
All right, thank you so much for those updates. That was our News 5 correspondent, Gerard de la Peña. Now in weather, Tropical Storm Quiapo has slightly intensified as it moves closer to extreme northern Luzon. Quiapo was last located 135 kilometers east of Apari. It is packing winds of 75 kilometers per hour and gustiness of up to 90 kilometers per hour. The center of Quiapo may pass close to the northeastern portion of mainland Cagayan between this morning or afternoon. It may then pass very close or make landfall in the vicinity of Babuyan Islands. The storm is forecast to exit the Philippine area of responsibility tomorrow morning. As of 1 a.m., signal number 2 is in effect over Batanes, Babuyan Islands, as well as parts of Cagayan, Apayao, and Ilocos Norte. Meantime, signal number 1 is up over several areas now flashed on your screens. The Quezon City government has designated areas for protests during President Marcos's 5th State of the Nation address, or SONA, on Monday. More details from News 5 correspondent Mon Gualvez. Mon, paano ba yung setup para sa mga rallyista dyan sa July 27?
Yes, Angela, various militant groups are doubling their time in preparing their things that will be used for the State of the Nation address or SONA of President Bongbong Marcos this Monday. One of those is their effigy na isang 10-foot size na itsura or disenyo ni US President Donald Trump. Ang pinapakita nito, ang tinatawag nila dito rather is the puppet and the puppet master. Puppet master daw, itong si Donald Trump. On his left hand are mga tangke at nagpapakita ng kanilang influence over wars across the world. Habang sa kanan is yung image naman ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos that seems to be a puppet na kontrolado pa rin daw ng Estados Unidos na nagiging dahilan kaya nahihirapan daw ang sambayanan in terms of prices ng mga bilihin, even the utilities and all, no? So, ang sinasabi ng grupo talagang handa na sila at nakipag-usap sila sa lokal na pamahalaan ng Quezon City para nga sa magiging full day, no, na protesta mula umaga hanggang hapon yung kanilang request na permit. And as of the moment, dalawang grupo na yung nakasecure ng permit. These are Bayan and Sanlakas groups. Ang sabi sa permit, according din sa LGU ng Quezon City, is papayagan sila hanggang bago mag St. Peter's Church, no? Dito sa Commonwealth Avenue. Mas malayo ito ng konti, few blocks away from last year, pero okay na raw ito, sabi ng grupo, no? At dito sila nakatakda magsagawa ng kanilang People's Zona para sabihin yung kasalukuyang kalagayan ng bansa, no? Compared or kontra sa magiging report ni Pangulong Bongbong Marcos on his zona. Ito, we are flashing on screen the approved rally sites. Aside from the militant groups, meron ding Better Brighter group. This is actually a pro-BBM or pro-administration group that is expected to hold also a rally. At ang sinasabi ng LGU, according sa permit, these are, we are expecting around 20,000 number of people na sasama daw dyan sa Better Brighter. Wala daw nag-file ng permit para naman doon sa mga anti ng government. At the same time, sa inaasahan na foundation anniversary naman ng Iglesia ni Cristo on Monday at the same time.
Actually, Mon, yun nga itatanong ko sa iyo eh. Do you have any information doon sa magiging event ng INC coinciding nga nitong magiging zona ng Pangulo? Meron bang humingi ng permit sa kanila? Saan gagawin yun? Mon?
That is still a mystery right now, Angela, dahil ang sabi ng Quezon City LGU, wala raw nag-a-apply ng permit from the Iglesia ni Cristo in terms of their activity for their anniversary. So we are still, kumbaga, nangangapa pa ang pamahalaan dahil hindi nila alam kung sakasakaling gagawin ng INC yung ginawa nila sa EDSA White Plains na Nampulaga, no? At nag-create na lamang ng big group of people doing an activity on the said area. So ang tinong din natin, itong mga militant groups, how are they preparing for this one? Kasi kung sakaling marami din yung grupo naman ng INC members, how will they adjust? No? Ang sinasabi nila, they will stick on their plan na magpapatuloy sila dun sa inalaw na lugar in which doon sa bago mag St. Peter's Church. No? Pero kung sakali daw na maipit sila dahil sa dami ng tao, meron daw silang another plan or at least makapag-demonstrate pa rin in front of UP Diliman.
Ano naman ang kumbaga media policy ng Quezon City pagdating dito sa magiging zona ng Pangulo, saan po pwede pumunta yung mga media para mag-cover nitong mga protesta? Any information regarding that, Mon?
Wala namang pagbabawal or limitations sa media coverage according sa LGU ng QC. Just like in the past years, no, pareho pa rin naman daw. The media are allowed to cover both the pro and the militant groups, no, in terms of their protests, their demonstrations. So, or we can also make our positions with the police, no, kasi magkakaroon din ng mga harang sa mga areas na binanggit, no. Ang isa sa binabatehan din kasi dito, Angela, is yung plano ng mga militant groups na hindi lang basta sirain, kundi susunugin yung FEG. So the question here is, how are they preparing for this one? The fact that bawal sa environment, no? At saka mukhang nakaabang na rin ang Bureau of Fire Protection para patayin kung sakali itong pagsusunog ng grupo. But the groups still stick on their plan that they will susunugin itong FEG na ito dahil pagpapakita daw yan ng kanilang galit, no, sa kasalukuyang estado ng bansa at ng pamumuno sa atin. At yung sinasabi daw sa Clean Air Act, mga basura. Pero ito daw ay covered ng protected speech according to Bayan Group.
Well, Mono, the reason why I ask you about the media policy ng Quezon City because just few days ago, nakita naman natin sa mga balita yung mga nagrarally doon sa labas ng Senate. Even yung mga miyembro ng media, mga nahuli, nasiraan pa ng camera because of nagkakagulo doon. So just making sure na ang media ay wala namang restriction pagdating sa pag-cover nitong mga event na ito.
As of the moment, there are no restrictions being provided for the media in terms of covering the activity and the demonstrations both by the pro-administration and even the militant groups. So we just don't know kung magkakaroon ba ng adjustment on the day itself, kung pagbabawalan ba sakaling makahalubilo ang media doon sa grupo ng mga militant groups. Pero ang sinasabi din naman ng militant groups, ang pinakasinisiguro nila ay hindi sila manggugulo at bagamat welcome sa lahat ang kanilang mga demonstrasyon, ay hindi daw welcome dito yung mga nagtatangkang guluhin at lihisin yung kanilang pinakapanawagan. Angela.
Any more announcement regarding the upcoming SONA, klase sa QC, wala ba, may liquor ban ba? Go ahead, Mon.
Yes, there are several announcements by the Quezon City LGU in terms of, or in the upcoming 5th SONA of PBBM, in which so suspended lahat ng klase sa Quezon City on Monday. At the same time, they will be implementing liquor ban in the whole city during the SONA of the President. Angela.
All right, thank you so much for your time. News 5 correspondent Mon Guaves. All right, do join us on Monday. Witness the live and continuing coverage of the 5th State of the Nation Address or SONA of President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. this July 27, 2026. Get the latest developments, expert analysis, and real-time reports as the story unfolds only on One News and other Kapatid channels. Our coverage will be whole day, so do stay tuned. Join us again at 2 p.m. for the very latest stories. I'm Angela Lagunsad Castro. Stay tuned to One News.
This is AP News Minute. There's uncertainty over President Donald Trump's newly signed civilian nuclear agreement with Saudi Arabia. The deal was announced Wednesday, but Trump now says it's contingent on the Saudis normalizing relations with Israel. The Saudis, however, want a clear path for Palestinian statehood first. As hostilities between the U.S. and Iran escalate, the House has narrowly passed a resolution calling for a halt to U.S. military action in Iran. The Senate, however, has narrowly rejected a similar resolution. The fatal police shooting of a man with a knife has triggered outrage in Madison, Wisconsin, and prompted Wisconsin's governor to call for transparency and accountability as the state begins to investigate the shooting. President Trump welcomed the world champion Los Angeles Dodgers to the White House Thursday for their World Series win over the Toronto Blue Jays. The Dodgers' win in the series Game 7 made them the first repeat champions in a quarter of a century.